There's brand new allegations against brand new's Jesse Lacey. Is it time for Sleep Token to take off their masks? And would you ever go see an Ozzy Osbourne hologram show? All that on this week's episode of The Jesse Lee Show. Oh, The Jesse Lee Show. Oh, The Jesse Lee Show. Oh, The Jesse Lee Show. Woo! I am so good at guitar and singing too. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of the show. If you're new around here, please find that follow button on Spotify, find that subscribe button on YouTube, and bang your head on those buttons, okay? I need your love. I need your support. I need you to find the 5 stars on Spotify as well. And go ahead and tap all 5 stars. Tap all 5s. Just tap them, baby. Just tap those 5 stars. You know, that's the only way to help the show is to follow, 5-star, and share it with friends. That's all I'm asking. I don't ask a lot. You know, I don't have a Patreon or anything like that. I'm not asking for money. Just support the show if you like what I'm doing, which you do. Obviously, right? You're here, okay? We gotta make sure this thing works, okay? This is the only show about music, I promised. I checked. It's the only show, it's the only podcast about music out there. I can't believe it's the only one, but surprisingly, this is the only one that exists. So this one needs to work. All right, let me start off by saying I really don't want to talk about this. I really don't want to make this video right now, you know? I like to keep things pretty light around here on the Jesse Lee Show. I think you know that by now. Lots of fart jokes. Lots of fun Linkin Park news. I like to not get too heavy on subject matter. But this one is a pretty big one in the alternative music scene. And it's something if I don't at least bring it up, all the comments are going to say, why didn't you mention this? So we're going to talk about it as best we can here. And we're going to talk about it as delicately as possible. Brand new allegations against brand new's Jesse Lacey, unfortunately. So the previous allegations against Jesse Lacey. I'm going to read these from Wikipedia just so we're staying as close to facts as we can here. I mean, there's a lot of blog posts and a lot of discussion on social media about what Jesse Lacey has done, lead singer from Brand New. But I'm going to try to just present what is, more verified, I guess, for lack of better words. So it says, according to Wikipedia, in late 2017, Lacey was accused of sexual misconduct by 2 women who alleged the events occurred 15 years prior while they were underage, and Lacey was in his early 20s. Lacey apologized publicly for cheating on Brand New's Facebook page. He apologized for cheating and admitted to having a sex addiction in his past, which he had sought treatment for over a decade before the allegations were brought public. He did not acknowledge the alleged age of his accusers in his apology. So, a bit vague, right? So, cut to this past year. Brand New played some secret shows. They've played secret shows before. Jesse Lacey has done some solo acoustic secret shows, not advertised, hence the word secret. So then, end of last year, Jesse Lacey plays another secret show. And that's followed up by a few public shows that were announced. There were 4 public shows that were announced last month, I believe. And then right after that, right after the last public show, they announced a full U.S. tour. So it looks like Brand New is full on back, full on reunion. Now, I do need to take a moment to let you know, I am not Jesse Lacey. I'm Jesse Lee. I know that seems like something I shouldn't have to explain or draw attention to at this point, but anytime I've posted news about Brand New, which has been a grand total of twice now in the past however many years, because they haven't done anything since 2017, I get comments of people responding to the posts thinking I'm Jesse Lacey for some reason, like, so glad to have you back, brother. And I've had people DM me, like, don't let him get you down, dude. You can do this. You can be back on the road again. Things like that. I'm like, that's not me. I understand Jesse Lacey and Jesse Lee sound a little similar, but 2 different people, completely different people. I am not the singer of Brand New, so just want to get that all out there. Make sure we're all crystal clear on that, okay? So back to these new allegations that came out in a post that was detailed on Medium. It was posted by a woman by the name of Ayana, and she shared her story of meeting Lacey and his tour manager with her best friend when she was 15, her friend was 16, and Lacey would have been about 26, 27 at this time. And the post doesn't say specifically that anything physical happened, but she claims she was groomed. She says she and Lacey spent a lot of time together from 06 to 07. And on the Medium post, which I recommend you go check this out, I'll link it in the show notes. Go read this whole post because I'm going to very much condense it here. It's very long and it's too much detail for me to get into on this kind of podcast episode. Maybe we can do a deep dive on it at some point if fans feel like that's needed. But yeah, go read the full thing if you would like to get her side of the story. But in this post, she shares photos of her on the tour bus with Lacey, her out to dinner with Jesse Lacey and her family. Her mom and family all took them out to dinner. And she alleges that Jesse Lacey said that he's in love with her and he would marry her if it wasn't for the age difference. A lot of stuff. A lot of not great things, not a lot of good things. And at the end of the post, she says that brand new, the reunion should not be happening. It shouldn't be taking place. She says, especially because Lacey's 2017 apology did not admit to what he had done. She said, to my knowledge, he has yet to name specific behaviors that were problematic, like grooming, manipulation, and coercion. And he never reached out to the victims to attempt any sort of form of restitution. And something else to note here is when the tour was announced, the music venues that he's playing at, they all shut off their comment sections because I don't know if they started getting hit with a lot of negativity in the comments or they turned them off, ahead of time, like they anticipated it, which is something I've never seen before. I'm not saying it's never happened before. There's been lots of controversial tours that have gone on, like Marilyn Manson's tour recently had a bit of controversy around it. But even then, I don't know if the venues turned off their comment sections. I could be wrong about that. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments if that happened. But that's first time I feel like I've seen that, which is pretty crazy to see venues shutting off their comment section. Like, hey, we're going to book this artist, but we don't want to hear your thoughts on it at all. The truth is, there's a lot of people out there, a big group of community out there that are going to condemn anyone who supports brand new Jesse Lacey or this tour. If you go to this show, if you post photos of it online, you're going to get some heat from some people. But at the same time, the tour is likely going to sell out. These shows are probably going to sell out. There's enough people that are able to separate the artist from the arts and that love brand new so much, that were very influential to them growing up, that they're able to look past this. And there's a lot of people that won't, but again, I think the tour will sell out and there might be protests outside of it. Who knows what will happen, And on that note, I am a big believer in separating the art from the artist, but I'm also a big believer that it's pretty freaking weird for a 26-year-old to be talking to a 16-year-old and hanging out with her. So let me know your thoughts below on this whole thing. All right, it's time to lighten things up. Ugh, God, see what I'm talking about? That stuff is too heavy. It's too heavy, man. I know it needs to be talked about, needs to be discussed, but I like to keep it light, light on my loosey-goosey around here, baby. Sharon Osbourne says she's open to the idea of a Black Sabbath hologram show. Why stop there, though, right? I want an Ozzy Osbourne virtual assistant, okay? Somebody that can help me with my day-to-day tasks, right? Hey, Ozzy, does inebriated start with an I or an E? Thanks, Ozzy. I appreciate that. Anyway, Ozzy Osbourne is reuniting with Black Sabbath for one final epic show called Back to the Beginning. It's going down on July 5th, 2025 in Birmingham, UK. Birmingham, not Birmingham. Got a lot of flack for calling it Birmingham. It's Birmingham. I apologize. Ozzy's not coming to Alabama as much as I would love for him to come to Alabama because that's a lot easier for me to get to than the UK. He is not. He's going to be at the, what was the name of the venue here? It is at the Villa Park. This lineup is insane. So obviously it's Black Sabbath having their reunion, their one final show together. It's going to be Ozzy Osbourne's final show together, or his final show at all. You got Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Tool. The crazy part is Tom Morello, who is from Rage Against the Machine, Audioslave, obviously. He's the musical director of this, so he's in charge of curating some of the bands, and he says there's an even bigger surprise. There's a couple surprises, some huge superstars. They're even bigger than what has been announced. Like, what could that be? Like I said, you got Metallica, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, Alice in Chains, Slayer. You got members of Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst, Jonathan Davis from Korn. I mean, at this point, who would blow your mind more? Like, who could set the bar even higher than what artists have been announced? I'll tell you who. Andrew WK. That's right. You put Andrew WK out there, you get that party started, okay? You start the party with Andrew WK. He opens and closes Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath's final show. Andrew WK fronts Black Sabbath, sings Paranoid. All right? You got a winning show on your hands. Probably not going to happen. But in a Metal Hammer interview, back to what we were talking about, Sharon Osbourne was asked if she would be open to a Black Sabbath Avatar show, similar to what ABBA's doing out there with the Voyager stuff. And she said, sure, I would, yeah. Technology keeps moving on and on. You can do incredible things now. So, what you do in like 5 years or so, that'd be even better. So you never know what opportunities there are. She's not saying it's happening. Right now, I think their focus is first and foremost getting Ozzy to this final show. He's had a lot of health issues over the years. He's had a lot of quote unquote final tours, final shows that didn't end up happening. And I think the big focus here, the primary objective, is keeping Ozzy healthy, keeping the rest of Sabbath healthy. They're not, young spring chickens either, and get this show to happen because this is what everyone wants to see. This is what everyone wants. And she's not saying, yeah, we're definitely doing an Avatar show, but she's open to the idea. I think she's like, yeah, we'll see. Like, let's worry about this first. Let's get Ozzy out there. Let's get Sabbath out there and do that. I got a video of the ABBA one here. And now I'm not a fan of ABBA per se. Some hits for sure. Undeniable. I'm not a big, huge fan of ABBA, but the avatars are pretty impressive. I'm going to play a video here for you to check it out for anyone that has the ability to look at their phone or screen right now. If you're driving around in your car listening to me right now, first of all, thank you so much. Second of all, pull over because you might want to see this part possibly. I'm going to mute it because copyright. I'm not trying to get taken down here or anything. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty impressive. The fact that this isn't like these aren't real people on stage dancing right now is pretty crazy. And Kiss is doing an Avatar hologram show as well, or at least they're planning on it. They did their final show in Madison Square Garden last year. Well, quote unquote final. And they announced that they would live on as digital avatars. Theirs isn't up and running yet, though. Theirs is still in beta, I believe. But here's some video of them getting all computerized here, getting all AI generated. But I mean, again, looks pretty cool. Theirs isn't in action yet, so we can't say for certain. But from those videos and those previews, looks pretty cool, all right? So I guess the big question is if an Ozzy Osbourne hologram show happens. I mean, she was asked if they would do a Black Sabbath hologram show, but that really means, would you make Ozzy into a hologram? That's what it's leading towards. Like, is it going to be Ozzy living on forever? So if Ozzy Osbourne becomes a hologram digital avatar, would you go see it? I'm going to say I would. I know, no, it's not going to be as cool as seeing Ozzy live. No shit. I know it's not going to be as cool as seeing the real thing. It's not going to be nearly as good. It's going to be probably almost as expensive, but not as good. But I've never gotten to see Ozzy Osbourne live. It's a bucket list band for me for sure. A bucket list artist rather, as well as Black Sabbath. I don't think there's any chance I'm going to make it to the UK for this final show. Even with all my pomp and circumstance and in my status in the music world of being the music news daddy, your music news daddy, even with that said, I don't think I'm going to get a ticket to this UK show because every single rock and metal fan out there wants to go to this show. So it does not look like I'll be making it to the UK to see Ozzy. So my only opportunity to ever see anything close to that would be an Ozzy hologram. Like, I'm not saying like I am super excited about the idea, but hey, if I can go to Cleveland, where I live, to an arena to see Ozzy Osbourne-ish, I'll do it. If the price is right, I'll do it. But would you go? Let me know. Would you ever go see an Ozzy Osbourne hologram show, a Black Sabbath Avatar show? Let me know in the comments. Is Sleep Token gonna take off their masks? Sleep Token released a new song called Caramel, which, first of all, when I did the story about this, when it first dropped, I accidentally said caramel. All right? I called this song Caramel. Full disclosure, I always say caramel because I'm a big nerd like that, okay? I think it sounds cool to say caramel, except when I'm ordering a caramel macchiato from Starbucks. Now you might be saying, Jesse, why are you ordering that? Well, my wife likes them, okay? I drink black coffee. I'm not trying to flex here, but I enjoy just straight up black coffee. But my wife does enjoy a great caramel macchiato. And they are delicious. I'm not going to say they're not. I just prefer black coffee. But anyway, I digress. I only say caramel when I'm ordering it from Starbucks. I don't know what it is about Starbucks, but it makes me want to say caramel instead of caramel. So anyway, I accidentally, had Starbucks on the brain, said caramel in the video about Sleep Token, and fans took me outside and beat me. Metaphorically, there were a lot of people upset that I said caramel instead of caramel. I've had people say that I'm disrespecting UK culture by not saying caramel. Now listen, if you are legitimately upset that I pronounce the word caramel as caramel, you are a giant nerd, okay? And I'm saying that as somebody who's a giant nerd. I'm saying that as somebody who is a very big word nerd in general. And I also just, have a commitment to, devotion to accuracy, if you will. I get it. And I say the word caramel. I'm with you 100%. But if you genuinely are upset by this, you got to spend less time online, is all I'm saying. All right. So all that aside, they released that song, right? It was heavily teased for about a week. Not as teased as much as it was going to be. They enlisted metalhead weatherman Chris Michaels, good buddy now, via social media. And he was doing all these teaser clips in his weather forecast. So Chris Michaels posts a teaser. It says, prepare for 3/29, March 29th. Something's coming. It's got the Sleep Token logo behind him. Music playing ominously. Teasing something. 3/29 comes around. It says the story is developing. Check back on 3/31. Check back March 31st for some news. Story's developing. March 31st rolls around. Still nothing new, but yet another teaser. Now, at this point, fans are like, okay, this has been a teaser of a teaser of a it's an announcement of announcement of announcement. It's a little much. Fans are getting upset. Fans become irate. At this teaser on March 31st, he says, check back on April 2nd and there's another little clue. But at this point, fans have started harassing Chris Michaels, the weatherman. They started infiltrating his live streams for his actual weather updates. His city is going through a pretty significant weather crisis at the moment, and people are like chiming in on the weather update live cast, like shit talking him about Sleep Token. Somebody's grandma was just trying to like figure out if she needed to take shelter for the evening, and meanwhile she's getting shit for not worshiping the first album correctly. It's a bit much, right? So after this, Sleep Token cancels the whole clue that was supposed to drop on April 2nd, and they just say like an hour later, they're like, hey, new song, April 4th, Caramel, check it out. And I have a lot of people saying like this was a plan all along. They were gonna, drop the song on April 4th. But no. Chris Michaels said in a post on Instagram, he assured us that the plan was to do another clue on April 2nd, but it all got scrapped when everything went haywire. So they released the new song, Caramel. And again, the timing is pretty coincidental because of all this drama with the puzzles, the teasers, the fans yelling at grandmas and weather live streams. The song, for the first time, kind of breaks the fourth wall of Sleep Token. The singer Vessel, or really, for the first time, the guy behind the mask, whoever that is, he's speaking to fans directly about sort of the parasocial and like toxic dynamic that some of these like really, really extreme fans are, showing lately. He's like in lines in the song, like every time they try to shout my real name just to get a rise from me, acting like I'm never stressed out by the hearsay. Guess that's what I get for trying to hide in the limelight. And, this has been going on for a while. It was this past year, some of the members of Sleep Token were doxxed. People found their true identities or were posting them on Reddit and sharing the bass player's birth certificate, which is insane. It feels like this obsession is starting to boil over. It's getting to the point where the band might just give up being anonymous. It might just it's not worth it anymore, because what intrigued people about the band so much in the beginning, this anonymity, this mystery, has driven people bonkers and doing crazy things like doxing band members. You don't have to do all that, by the way. You don't have to search birth certificate records and like find home addresses. You can just Google who's in the band if you really want to know. The information's out there. I'm not going to tell you right now. I'm not going to spoil it. I ruin a lot of things. Oh, I spoil a lot of stuff. I mess up a lot of people's days, but this is not one of those opportunities. I'm not going to tell you who's in the band. You can go Google if you want, but it's out there if you want to be a buzzkill about it. And I just don't know if they can keep the gimmick. I hate to use that word, but the gimmick up forever. Eventually they're going to have to kind of peel back the mystery. I feel like every band, when they get to a certain level of fame, they have to peel back the mystery. Slipknot eventually took off their masks. I feel like they weren't on the level of as mysteriousness as Sleep Token is, but for a long time, no one knew who Corey Taylor really was initially. Ghost frontman Tobias Forge, he never planned on taking his mask off. He never planned on revealing who was behind the Papa characters. But back in 2017, he got sued by former Ghost band members over like royalties and like unpaid money for like touring and whatnot. And unfortunately, Tobias Forge can't just show up in court dressed as Papa, 4 or whatever, which would be cool though. If he just showed up full Papa gear in court, and every time they try to get him to take it off, he just said it was his religion. And he started. You could probably use that. He could probably, if he wanted to really push it, he could probably use this is my religion. You can't make me take this off. Yeah, he could have kept that going maybe a little bit longer, but he didn't. He revealed that he was Tobias Forge. Now everyone knows who he is, and he reluctantly, has to do interviews as Tobias Forge. You can tell he doesn't like it. He doesn't even have TikTok. I don't even know if he has a cell phone, to be honest. He won't let you take a cell phone to Ghost shows anymore. The whole Ghost policy on their new tour, you can't take your phone in there. I think that's also stems from him not having a phone. I don't believe Tobias Forge from Ghost, I don't think he has a cell phone. Prove me wrong. Show me a photo of him using a phone. I don't think he has one. But anyway, I think, back to Sleep Token, I think sometime during this album cycle for the Even in Arcadia album that they're releasing on May 16th, I think from sometime from now until then, we're going to at least get a little less mystery. A little less, I'm not saying they're going to take the masks off for sure. I'm not saying they're going to totally put it all out there, if ever. But I'm just saying, I think they're going to peel back that a little bit. They're going to focus a little less on that possibly, because especially from this new song, Caramel, it sounds like the band and specifically Vessel, the singer, is just really over it. He's just really tired of hearing people come after him and try to get a rise out of him and just really focus on that part of the band. Some of the fans are focusing too much on trying to figure out who they are and ruining it for everyone else instead of just enjoying the music. And side note, sort of related, I interviewed Johnny Hawkins from Nothing More this past week. I'll have that up in a few days or so. And they toured with Sleep Token early on in the Sleep Token's career. And I asked him, and I was like, do they just walk around in their masks and costumes, throughout the entire tour? If the bus broke down and Vessel had to call his insurance company, was he just out there, in his mask talking to State Farm, or was he at catering trying to eat soup without getting it all over his mask? Dude, these are the questions that I needed to know, and I got that question answered for you. But you're gonna have to wait until the interview drops. I do have the answer for that. It will be up. I'm planning on Friday. That's the goal here. That's the goal. My editor, Jack behind the scenes, he'll be responsible for that. So if the show's not up, if the interview with Johnny Hawkins is not up by Friday, blame Jack. Go harass Jack. Go dox Jack. All right? Give Jack shit. All right? Jack shit. Some other notable releases this past week. We have Baby Metal featuring Poppy. They dropped a song from Me to You. My dude, comedian Kyle Gordon, he dropped a new metal parody song called Crawl to Me, which sounds just like every 2000s, late 90s new metal song. Definitely worth checking out. We got new songs from Sleep Theory, Machine Head, Rise Against, and Blue October released a new song called Hot Stuff that I feel like nobody's talking about. And Blue October is so underrated, dude. Blue October, come on, man. Hate Me, that song, Oceans, God. They're a band that really never fit into one box for rock and metal. They were sort of indie. They were almost like the Modest Mouse of metal. I love Blue October. The new song Hot Stuff, it's pretty good. It's not my favorite Blue October song, but it might grow on me. I'm just excited Blue October's releasing music, okay? Go check it out. And if you want to hear all of the new music for this week, I do have a playlist called New Scene Sunday. That's linked in the show notes. every week. I put all of this week's brand new music on there. So go ahead, check that out if you want to be up to date. You know, stay up to date with what's current, what's cool. All right, I have some videos here for all my visual learners. We're gonna do a little video segment. So again, if you're driving, if you're listening to me in the car, first of all, thank you for listening at all. Pull over and take a break. You've been driving a lot. You know, you've had a hard day. Pull over and do some scrolling and watch some videos with me for about next 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, and while you're doing that, make sure to hit the follow button on Spotify, okay? Yeah, bang your head on that follow button. If you're on YouTube, bang your head on the subscribe button. If you're on Spotify, please hit the 5 stars, Give me the 5-star. Give me all 5 stars. Don't give me a 1 star. Don't be like that, okay? It doesn't help you to give me 1 star, does it? No. Selfish. Give me 5 stars. Let's make this what we all know it is, the greatest and pretty much only show about music. I've checked. There are no other shows, no other podcasts about music. I promise you. This is the only one. So you guys got to make sure this one thrives, okay? Anyway, a couple of videos I want to get to. SHAQ posted a video of him playing a guitar cover of 3 Days Grace, Never Too Late. Playing. I have to use that in quotations, playing. Hopefully I can play this clip without getting copyright here. It looks like he's playing a ukulele. He is just such a very large individual. Like, look at that. He's not playing, right? Like, there's no way he's playing that. Like, look at how he's strumming it. Like, he's not really even fully, and this isn't a knock against SHAQ. Like, he obviously knows about music. Like, he's released rap albums. He has shown his love for rock and metal before. He's a DJ, for Christ's sake. DJ Diesel, he's out there spinning music. He loves music. He loves rock and metal. So, like, I'm not saying that he couldn't play this song, but just from that video, it does not look like he's actually playing that song. 3 Days Grace frontman Adam Gonche shared the video, though, and said it was time for a collab. He thinks it's time that 3 Days Grace and SHAQ link up and collab. I'm assuming he's talking musically. He thinks they should get together and do some kind of musical project, but I'm hoping it goes the other way, all right? I'm hoping 3 Days Grace recruits SHAQ for a basketball game, some kind of like twisted butt rock version of Space Jam. I think that's the winning move here. So this next video is of Knocked Loose at a show in Germany, and they invited like all the guitar players from all the opening bands, and I believe the bass players too, it looks like, on stage to jam with them here. And it sounds surprisingly good for, like, I don't know, how many we got here? 18 guitar players? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Like 25 guitars here? The caption says, dudes will see this and think, hell yeah. That's exactly what I thought myself. Like, hell yeah. This is cool, man. You got like 25 guitar players just down there jamming. I'm sure the sound engineer was losing his ever-loving mind about this. Also, is that singer Brian Garris playing guitar? The singer for Knocked Loose, Brian Garris, is he playing guitar in this too? That's awesome. He's like, yeah, well, you need another one, obviously. I'll strap on guitar. But yeah, the sound guy had to be losing his mind at this point. I feel like he probably wasn't thinking, hell yeah, brother. Or maybe he was. It just seems like it'd be quite the challenge to mix 25 guitars at once and make it sound as good as it does. Yeah, sounds pretty good. All right, one more video here from the band called Wolves of Glendale, which is a comedy band. The one singer, Kyle, in this group is really funny. I've been following his stuff for a while. I didn't really realize he had a whole band of doing this kind of stuff, but this is pretty good. I'm not gonna preface it at all. Just listen.
Stop putting protein in every day. Stop putting protein in every day. Stop putting protein in every day. Just let a brownie be a brownie. Does a pancake really need protein? No. Does a Pop-Tart really need protein? No. Do potato chips really need protein? No. Just get your protein from chicken or beans. Stop!
Okay, so very funny song. Very well written. Very catchy. I don't agree with the messaging, though. I'm sorry, guys. I think everything does need protein. As a person who's trying to get about 150 to 160 grams of protein a day, it's pretty challenging, okay? It's not easy, all right? I eat lots of eggs, beans, chicken, beef, all that stuff. I eat as much as I can, but I need a supplement at some point. I can only eat so many eggs. All right. I can eat more than I can lay, but I still can only eat so many. So yeah, you know what? I do need a Pop-Tart with protein in it. Also, I like a little sweet treat. Okay. I like a little sweet treat with my protein. Obviously I know this is in jest. I know they're not trying to attack me personally, even though it feels like it, but good job, guys. That song is hilarious. Time to dig through my DMs and burn through my comments. Gonna answer everything you wanna know. rbustin_con_lentes. I hope I'm pronouncing any of those words right. On Instagram said overall opinion on caramel. I almost said caramel. You're not gonna get me today, Sleep Token fans. Overall opinions on caramel. I like it. I like it a lot. Like the first 3 minutes of the song is like this reggaeton type track that almost sounds like it's like influenced by Ed Sheeran, and then it just busts into this like heavy, just kick-ass bridge at the end, outro. Very cool. Love the song. I loved Emergence too. I think I like Caramel more than Emergence, to be honest. I think this one is my go-to track right now. And I've said it before. I've said it in the past. I am not a huge, or was not a huge Sleep Token fan. I was very like meh on Sleep Token. They're winning me over lately. They're winning me over a lot with these tracks, and I'm starting to become more and more of a fan. I'm starting to drink the Kool-Aid, I'm starting to drink that Sleep Token Kool-Aid. Side note, I really hope Sleep Token doesn't do anything next week. I hope this week is Sleep Token free. Not because I don't like Sleep Token, okay? I feel like the first 2 episodes of the podcast have been pretty heavily Sleep Token focused, okay? And this is not a Sleep Token podcast. There are Sleep Token podcasts out there. You can go listen to them. Totally cool. But I just don't want to confuse people to think this is like some kind of Sleep Token fan account. It is not. Not yet, anyway. We'll see what happens with the next songs. Imran Davies on Instagram said, have you seen the Minecraft movie? I have not. I have not seen the Minecraft movie, but I have seen the reactions to the Minecraft movie in the theater specifically. There are these videos going around of people losing their minds, no pun intended, in the Minecraft movies. People watching this live in the theaters over the weekend. So there's apparently a chicken jockey scene in the Minecraft movie. It's got police losing it. So overzealous fans, some audience in the UK, at this part of the movie, when
Chicken jockey.
apparently when chicken jockey shows up, that's when people freak out, and cops here are getting called, and they're being escorted out. I don't know what that means. I don't understand why chicken jockey is a thing that people are getting so riled up about, why it fires them up. I'm not knocking it. Whatever gets your jollies, whatever you think is cool and fun to do at a theater, that's fine. Don't interrupt a movie for anyone else. If you're really, if I was taking my son to this movie, which my 6-year-old is familiar with Minecraft, but he doesn't have any interest in it yet, which is the only reason I have not seen this yet. I am pretty heavily up to date with all little kid trends, unfortunately, because, I have a little kid, so I can't keep up to date with that kind of stuff. Right now, he's primarily focused on wrestling and basketball. Minecraft is not a point of interest. So I have not had to see this movie yet. I would see it because Jack Black is in it, and I love Jack Black. I think he's hilarious. Speaking of, what I did see was Jack Black on SNL parodying My Chemical Romance's Welcome to the Black Parade. There was a sketch called Goth Kid on Vacation, and it was a reggae song about what you would think goth kids on vacation. And then Jack Black cuts in. Full My Chemical Romance get up, full Black Parade music video theme, parodying the song, Welcome to the Jack Black Parade, if you will. The lyrics, I'm not going to play it because, copyright, but it said, when I was a young boy, my parents took me to Jamaica for my high school spring break. They said, come to the pool, bud, but I stayed in my room with my graphic novels so I could master. You know what they were doing. So it was funny. It was good stuff. Pretty offensive, I got to say. A little offensive, My Chem is not goth, okay? My Chem is an emo band. There's a big difference, okay? Emos think the world is shit. Goths know the world is shit. And also vampires, okay? Big difference. I have some pamphlets you should read. I'll pass them out after the show's over. You guys can look them over. Stacia_Borelli on Instagram said, best metal song for someone to listen to with their cat. Well, obviously, anything from the band Kitty, right? I mean, is there any other answer that works here? Anything from the band Kitty. You could, I guess, you could listen to Pantera's cover of Cat Scratch Fever if you were trying to scratch that itch, or be a little more lewd, a little more vulgar. Rob Zombie, Pussy Liquor. I'm saying, okay, I'm not saying, we should, but that's the song that would work for cats as well. Rob Zombie, Pussy Liquor. Okay, that's an option. All right, that's going to be our last question as we're running out of time. If you do have a question for next week's episode, please go ahead, drop them in the comments on YouTube or Spotify. You can leave comments on Spotify now. I know, it's pretty cool, right? I don't know about Apple Music. I don't use that. I'm not sure. Let me know. If Apple Music has a comment option, go ahead and do that. You can also find me at Jesse Lee on TikTok and Instagram, at Jesse Lee Show on X. Leave your comments there. And your questions, leave your questions there for next week's episode. And while you're there, you know what? Go ahead and bang your head on that follow button. Just bang. It doesn't count if you tap the follow button. You got to bang your head, okay? Also, make sure to leave 5 stars on Spotify. I swear, if I find out that you looked at the 5 stars and said, I'll do that later, I'm coming for you, all right? I'm going to dox you. I'm going to dox you next, all right? I probably won't do that, honestly. That's a super empty threat, but I would still appreciate it if you gave this show some love, all right? Either way, I'll see you next week on The Jesse Lee Show. Oh, The Jesse Lee Show. Oh, The Jesse Lee Show. Oh, The Jesse Lee Show.